Welcome, dear Thrivers, to our live session today on how to win against a toxic person or situation. This is going to be going up on YouTube as a Thriver TV episode, and I'm really excited about this because I'm planning to release a new Thriver TV episode each and every week now. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for connecting to my work, and I hope you're as excited as I am about Thriver TV making a comeback and returning to getting these really important messages out to those who can benefit from knowing that real healing from toxic people and situations starts from the inside out. And healing from the inside out really starts for anything in our life that we want to up-level. So to start off today, I just want to touch on what a definition of a thriver is in our wonderful community, because a lot of people ask. And I hope you relate to this. A thriver is a person who is in the process of finding ways to grow, flourish, and find fulfillment after adversity. A thriver learns how to love and accept themselves no matter where they are on their journey, or how terrible the past has been, or how earth-shattering the present moment still is. And the reason why as a thriver we do this is because it creates alignment with the inner source force to start activating healing, supporting, and accelerating their recovery from trauma, which is what it's all about, with the grand potential to reset their entire life to well-being. Being a thriver doesn't mean that you're fully healed, that your life is flourishing yet. It means that you're choosing to lean in, upshift, go free, and grow, no matter what your external world looks like. You start understanding that this is actually where your power is. As thrivers, we believe our current triggers and circumstances, no matter how painful they are, and of course with narcissistic and disappointing situations, they can be very painful. We recognize that they're a signal, a springboard, a gateway to the breakthroughs and the life that we deeply desire. We self-partner with our inner connection, which is where the power is, thus activating the quantum field of health, abundance, and plenty. Thrivers, what we do is we play by different rules, not by mistake. It's likely that there's a deep inner part of you that believes your life was never meant to be like this. And you're seeking steps to transcend from toxic people and patterns. You want to move beyond that. If that's true for you, you're already orientated towards becoming a thriver. And I really want you to know that my work in this community is here to support you. In today's live event, I want to discuss energetically with you how to deal with people and situations that are not pleasing to you. For harder topics such as court custody and stalking, please know that I have created many specific publications about these, and you can Google my name and those topics to access them. However, today's lesson is really important, even if you are still in the hard stuff, because we're going to be covering the only 3 choices that you have when you're dealing with a toxic person or a situation. There is literally only 3 choices. And we're going to go through those today. No matter how helpless you feel, we're going to investigate why the power and the choices are yours and how you can win every single time without exception if you align with the truth and the actions that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm also going to provide real life examples to help you absorb this teaching. Please know I'm going to answer your comments and your questions after this live session. And I want to say thank you because I really love receiving your comments and your questions. They're always amazing. And I'm really grateful for you sharing this information with your friendship circles and communities to help them know there is a way. There is a way. There so is, to transcend toxic people and situations. And I trust that the information I share with you today can profoundly affect your life. And maybe it's just the key that you've been waiting for. Many of you know my work is about true recovery and thriving from the inside out. And what I love about these times that we're in, as challenging as they are, is more and more people are awakening to deeper truths, knowing that there must be more to their lives than just trying to survive and always doing what we used to do. They're seeking a shift into a more organic power, sensing that there's got to be more to it than what we've been led to believe. And there certainly is. Thank you for sharing when you do with my videos, whether they're on YouTube or they're lives here, helping to get the word out, because never has it been so important to take back our power than when we're faced with toxic people and situations. Okay, so I'm going to jump now into the 3 choices. I'm going to go through those as an overview, and then I'm going to give you examples of when you apply these choices. So let's just go through the 3 options that you always have when you are trying to deal with toxic people and situations. Number 1, the first choice is do nothing new. Do nothing new. So in other words, you treat it as you always have, which is maybe you're trying to speak up and you're getting nowhere with that, or you go along to try to get along. That doesn't work either. And matters are getting worse. You know that. They're not getting better, because this is a call. It's an awakening with what's happening to you to change something about ourselves, to be able to respond in a different way, to get a different result. That's what uncomfortable situations and triggers are actually all about. So number 1, you just do what you've always done and try and hope for a different result that you're just not getting. So number 2 is leave toxic people and situations behind. And many people will advise you to do so. But there is a grave possibility that even if you do leave, that your future is still going to contain the same pattern, because you haven't yet gone through your graduation, your ascension, to be able to change your moment of now and who you are right now, to change relationships and situations in your future. And this is really important. I'm going to unpack this even more a bit later. Maybe you've experienced this. You've discovered that you met the same people in a different flesh suit in the future, and you're going through the same situations again, such as another toxic boss or a relationship with somebody who pathologically lies, or friendship circles who disregard you and aren't healthy for you to be around. And the list goes on and on and on. So you left, but your future didn't change. Simply telling yourself, this is toxic, you're toxic, I'm leaving, is not the soul graduation that's really being offered here as your growth opportunity. And I'm going to explain exactly what that soul graduation is with examples in a minute. So choice number 3 is you show up in a way that's completely different from how you used to respond. The goal here is to be anchored into empowerment, integrity, authenticity, which is the most powerful emotional force on the planet, your authenticity. And an invitation for not just that person or that situation to rise, but the entire field, the outer universe that is being directed by your inner universe. You're inviting it to shift, to enable you to start setting up people and situations for yourself at a much higher frequency, starting that in this moment of now. Let's have a look at an example of winning in a toxic situation. Let's say that you're in a job where you feel exploited, your ideas are treated as irrelevant, and you're really dissatisfied. You know this job's wrong for you. It's just not the truth for you. So you could take option 1 where you continue being angry and frustrated. You might talk to colleagues and friends and your spouse about it and the issues. Of course, it's so easy to blame it on the outside, but that's the denying of the incredibly powerful creator that you are to change you and then change your reality on this topic. The second option involves identifying that you're being exploited, that you're not happy, and this doesn't suit you. So you hand in your resignation and you prepare to leave. And you may think that this is an act of evolved deservedness and alignment with your truth, but you've missed a really important piece. You're not addressing the programming that has allowed, attracted, and co-generated you to be in such a position in the first place. Including unhealed trauma from my past, I'm going to attract and choose and be chosen by the equivalent in my outer world. I like to call these situations angels in disguise, which stands for the acronym. Well, it's AIDS. I call it AIDS. Okay, and it's that acronym, angels in disguise, posing as terrible people and situations. The problem in your life, believe it or not, is not the person or the situation. It's the inner program that you now have evidence of because you're hearing the signal through adversity right now to heal and change it. This was a painful program that already existed and it's presently playing out on repeat. This is the program of your past lives, your forebears who passed on their DNA beliefs to you. It's not just aesthetics we acquire, it's also emotional programs. Your childhood and your adult experiences of, I'm not appreciated, I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm treated as irrelevant, or something like that. And maybe this pattern is specific to the workplace. That's what shows up for you in the jobs you've had. Or maybe it shows up in some other areas or many areas in your life. Therefore, if you pack up and leave, the egoic brain may say to you, you stood up for yourself and this never has to happen again. Yet the quantum self knows that if we haven't yet reprogrammed these inner programs, they continue to play out like heat-seeking missiles, even if we do leave. The reason is that your frequency on the topic is still people don't appreciate, hear, or see me. And you may in the future try to avoid a job like that. Like you try to choose a lot more carefully. Yet inner subconscious programs run over 90% of our lives as adults, no matter what we try to think about and control outside of ourselves. So let's consider how you can change the situation, the pattern that you had previously experienced, and you're going through it now. And how then can you change your entire future timeline? The change comes from speaking up and anchoring into your authentic truth, stating and standing for it without getting attached to other people having to get it and agree with your version of you. This is about you getting it. Now, of course, as humans, this can be a really scary thing to do before doing some work on our inner self, because the fear is we're going to suffer even greater assaults if we speak up. What are we going to do if people don't agree with us and don't come to the party? What will happen if people decide to punish us for speaking up? And you will say, I could lose my job tomorrow if I say something about my rights or what I want. You may think, surely I've just got to try and play it safe and not make any waves. Now that's a really normal response and a way to feel, yet it's a really low vibrational way of thinking and acting. It's how we give our power away instead of taking it back. Our higher self knows if we're aligned in our deservedness, truth, and authenticity, and express it calmly with an open heart and stand in it, we get to create it. So at work, you speak up and you state that you will no longer say yes to other people piling their work onto you. You say, I want to share my ideas. You speak about your desire to be acknowledged and appreciated for the work that you do. And you would love to contribute to meaningful work for your own growth and to help the firm grow as a business. You create a meeting with a boss as high up the ranks as possible, and you are fearless in regard to what anybody else thinks about what you express to that boss. You have, of course, no control over how this is received. If you're given word salad or excuses or false promises that just don't land as true in your body, you have your answer. If the response is unclear, then ask, clarify what's being said to you. Speak up again. Or maybe your new alignment with your true self sparks an incredible upshift in your life where you are recognized and elevated because of this spiritual graduation that you just activated. You stood in it, you spoke up. You've just opened an energetic door to manifestation that you never would have previously. However, you didn't take this stand to achieve that because you actually have no control over whether that was going to work or not. You made the stand to start becoming the manifester from the inside out of your true self and your true life. Now you're free to start creating this soul truth either within this firm because it upshifted to match you, or in alignment with something new that will be far superior, because you are now in a completely new universe than the one that you were before you took this stand. All of a sudden, you have options at a higher frequency that are going to be available for you and come to you, and you'll have the capacity to meet them. It literally is that fast. This formula totally applies to everything. Let's have a look at the example of winning against a toxic individual. Let's go through this situation with a toxic person, an actual person who is just not nice to be around, somebody that you're having grave difficulty with. Many people are going through this right now on planet Earth. You may relate. So many relationships are being shaken up, illuminated. We're seeing the truth, they're being exposed, all to show us what is authentic to us and what is not authentic to us, and where we're not being authentic to ourselves, which is the really important piece. So let's talk about the common topic in this community, which of course is narcissistic people. Narcissistic people are people who have the capacity to pathologically lie. They demean, they name call, they don't want to be accountable. And these are definitely people with whom you need to have boundaries. So let's look at our first possibility, which is to keep doing what you've always done, hoping for a different result. Concerning a toxic people, this may be in relation to you're lecturing to them, you're prescribing to them, you're telling them how to behave like a decent human being, which of course doesn't work. It's just handing them narcissistic supply, attention, that they can load up their guns to shoot you with their bullets. And you're getting upset, triggered, you're in despair, you're raging, you're pleading. It's horrible. Or maybe you just completely detach and ignore and hope that they're going to stop mistreating you. Whatever the case, the treatment gets worse. This is your inner soul, your source force, turning up the volume and screaming at you. This is not your soul truth. This is not your authentic self. Let's get very clear that nothing and nobody is coming from the outside to save you from this, even if this person were to become dishonored, is not the removal of the trauma. This has been a pattern, and in honest self-reflection, and this is not about blaming you, this is just about a trauma pattern. So option number one is not a good one, because nothing will change. It just gets worse. You just do the same thing, hoping for a different result, and it's not working. And then we have option number two, where you up and leave, but you haven't spoken up. You haven't stood in your authentic truth. You haven't laid boundaries, and you haven't, this is what's so important about this, you haven't aligned with the real empowered creation of your life yet, which is to heal yourself and go free from the past pattern and generate a new one. The following may be a reason why you don't speak up, because you think, what is the point? And you know, I can understand why not, but let's look at this. Let's unpack this. Here is a vital realization. A toxic person is never going to agree with your authentic power and your stand in it, because it means they can't manipulate you, they can't exploit you for their own selfish gains, which has always meant sucking you dry for attention, resources, and literal energetic life force, and projecting their pain onto you and creating you as the scapegoat to try to elevate themselves. They're never going to agree with your stand for yourself. But here it is. You're not standing in your authentic truth to have them approve of it or agree with it. You're doing so for you to approve of it and agree with it, and to unlock your source force, your inner force, to turn the universal wheels of creation in your favor. And of course, a narcissistic person has no place in this healthy, true version of you. You don't want them to agree and join in, because they were never, ever going to stand up and honor your values and your authentic truth for healthy relationship and situation. The only winning option for you against a toxic individual is number 3. It's to state it and mean it. This is who I am. This is my values. This is what I will agree with. Off topic. All of the childish defense mechanisms that a narcissist uses, and there's plenty over the years. I've identified about 21 of them. And there's also the flat out devaluing and discarding, which the narcissist may say, well, you know, it's all you. I don't want to be with you. I'm just not connected to anything else in my life anymore other than my stated authentic truth. That's it. That's my line in the sand. They're my values. You know, honesty, decency, kindness, empathy, the ability to problem solve and act like a team, all the things a narcissist isn't. It's just unacceptable. I'm not having it. That's where I am. There's nothing to argue or defend. It just is. And anything other than that, you just don't even connect to. It's not my reality. I don't play anymore. Can you just breathe and open your body and feel and imagine how powerful that is? How powerful it is when you get there. And of course, you've got to keep working on to stay there, but it's the only way you're going to win. And of course, this is not a simple path to take when we're getting triggered and we're traumatized. We've got to do the work, the inner work. And this is why our Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program community has the resources, the support, and the healing shifts, coaching on those to help you get through this. So that third option is the only true path to your evolution, freedom, and ascending beyond, handing your power away to not just abusers, but to the entire mechanics of the true law of attraction, which is what your life's going to keep giving you and presenting, and you're going to keep choosing it. So within, so without. That true law of attraction always states, whatever you accept is what you will get. It doesn't matter how upset you get about it and how much you kick and scream. If it's in your life, that's what you're going to get. And also, if your dependency is on other people and situations that are assaulting your soul, then life and others will continue to treat you at the level that you treat yourself. And this is a huge awareness when we get to this. And this is not about blaming ourselves. It's just about understanding quantum law. Please know that winning against toxic situations in people is never about changing other people. It's always been about changing you and then seeing how your life completely changes. The greatest win for you is your freedom to move forward into your authenticity. Now, apparently, measuring frequency through the heart and power, we thought unconditional love is the most powerful force, but apparently those anchored in authenticity, it's many times more powerful. And that's where we're all heading in this shift. That's where our life is working from, that place. Authenticity means that you're aligned with your deservedness. And then you discover the incredible cogs of creation that are happening so fast now in terms of manifestation. I'm discovering that in my world, and so many people are discovering that when we stand in authenticity, things are just happening that are beautiful upshifts so quickly. Because be it, and then it comes. That's the connection from the inner to the outer world. And that's what become means. When we upshift, everything follows. The miracle is about your healing, rising, and living it. And if the situation or the person doesn't step up vibrationally for you, the superior replacement is already manifesting and it's already on its way to you. That's what winning really is. Because you win either way. You've already won. You overcame your old self and you became the true self who can and will call in and experience healthy environments and people. So I trust that today has helped you dissect this lesson and inspired you to realize you're not dependent on what other people or situations deliver you. You're actually dependent on your alignment in authenticity to create with your source force. And I look forward to answering your comments and your questions, whether they're on this live or whether you're posting them on YouTube. So it feels really good to say this again. It's been a while. So keep healing, keep smiling, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.